A self-proclaimed lesbian anorexic self-harmer left a comment on our YouTube webpage that she doubts from all she's ever heard in church that God could ever want anything to do with her. She says she feels she's failed too much, too often, to, quote, ever be okay in God's eyes again. And she's not attacking, she's not angry. She just somehow stumbled onto a video piece that gave her enough pause about the God she thought had rejected her to throw the thought out there into the night air. And she represents millions who doubt, who wonder, who stand outside, who resent that there is an inside by the looks of who appears to be welcomed in, who once maybe thought there was a God but have had to stuff the thought away based on the caricature they've been taught. They come in all forms. They resent a faith that appears to be chauvinistic, bigoted, and smugly angry at them. They resent a faith that yells and fights over everything just for the chance to be right about anything. They see through the plastic smile of people pretending they're righteous while not for a moment believing they were ever made so. They resent the arrogance and lovelessness of communities so certain they're representing God well by letting only the presentables in. They even mistrust communities who allow the unpresentables in, only to infect them with their particular brand of self-willed, self-managed religion. So what if we've been lied to? What if the only ones in his lifetime Jesus could barely endure were the very ones who would now want to keep you from him? What if God is not who you've been told he is, and neither are you? When he walked on earth, he spent most of his time with those who would find no place in many of our faith communities. He loved to go into the bars, the taverns, and the loud places of the displaced and irreligious, the abused and even the abusers. And he didn't walk in to yell at them. He didn't moralize at them. He didn't hold his breath afraid to be contaminated with who they were. He was constantly and consistently accused of being close with all of them. He'd stay long into the night, laughing and listening, creating pictures of hope and joy in their stories, entering into their sorrows, sharing food and drink, asking them, playing with them. He enjoyed them immensely. Why not? He uniquely in great joy made each one. Imagine the God of the universe now drinking from the same cup with the ones he formed from before the world began. And now, gently, he looks into their tired, frightened, shame-filled eyes, loving them in all the mess that has happened by living on this poison ball. And there's very little talk about behavior. But before this evening was over, this almost always happened. He offered himself for everyone. Everyone needs life. The earliest churches were almost exclusively filled with such as these. Jesus knows that self-harming anorexic girl, and he really likes her a lot. He loves her with all of his heart. And he provided on a cross a way to bring her home, not to religion, not to appearances, not even to fixing her behavior, but to him. He might tell her, I know. From before the world began, I've known, and I'm not ashamed. I'm not angry. And I will stay with you in the dirt while your accusers walk away, one by one. I will, as I did back in Israel at the end of the evening, offer only myself, and only when I'm convinced you see and trust who I am, will I ask you this question. Will you have me? And if I see in your eyes that you will, then I will say, no longer do you have to be named by that which you do not want to be. I give you a new name. From that moment on, new life, not religious coercion, will direct her on a path that God has formed from before the world began. Her trust of his character, of his love, of his ability will protect her, free her, and release her. The cross was that powerful, and her God that loving. It's time for the churches to be filled with such again.